I'm Simon from WhatCulture and welcome to episode 3 in my pro wrestling journey. And if you never watched before, as the kind of title suggests, it's me trying to become a professional wrestler. And we're doing that at the Al Snow Wrestling Academy. Now, before we go anywhere, every week I always shout out Al Snow, John Klinger, Simon Vanderwolf, the Red Eagle. They all deserve it, and I always mean to say it because these are just basically me rambling at you in a camera. I'm an idiot and I forget. Liam Dunn, Terry Thatcher. They're all the people that have been training me. And again, I only keep going on about this because a lot of people keep tweeting me. If you want somewhere to learn how to wrestle, I would recommend Al Snow Wrestling's Academy. Just type it in to Google, Twitter, Facebook, it's all there. That's the place you want to go. Now, as you can see, we finally have footage and hopefully that will be a mainstay as we go forward. But the place I wanted to start today is I made a mistake in my session last night. Now, we're all going to make mistakes, not just in pro wrestling, in life. You're all going to make mistakes. You fall down, and the whole point, we've all heard this, the cliche, it's not, how hard you fall, it's how quickly you get back up. But that isn't to say it didn't knock me for 6. So, at the start of most sessions, you're going to have a drill where you do some bumping. Obviously, bumping is the constant in professional wrestling. No matter what you're doing, there's probably going to be some kind of bump involved. And one of the bumps is called a flip bump. I'm sure all of you know what that is, but in case you don't, it's where you stand on your 2 feet, you hurl your arms forward, and you flip your body over. Now, I wouldn't say I was the greatest flip bumper in the world, but I certainly was getting more confident with them as the weeks were going on. Same with anything. The more you do something, the more confidence you get, and you think, I can do it, I can do it. Last night, for whatever reason, fear, I was scared, intimidated, I took a flip bump, and I landed a little bit on my neck. And it's one of those moments where, it's no serious injury. Everyone there was taking care of me. Before I forget, Joe Legend. He did one session with me as well. Incredible trainer. All incredible trainers. You don't even need me to tell you that's all true. But they will take care of you and they never let you do anything if they know you're seriously hurt. And I wasn't seriously hurt. It wasn't the impact of the fall, the pain itself. It was just the immediacy of it and your brain saying to you, what was that? That didn't feel right. And it's an incredible thing because as soon as it happened, I felt that fear in my stomach and I felt myself pulling back. So that's an incredible thing that I don't think well, that's not fair. I don't say any of us because I don't know what you guys out there think. But for me especially, we all know the risk of professional wrestling when you take into account what it is. Of course it's dangerous. We've seen what could happen in the ring. But when you're watching it week in, week out, you kind of forget that. And you should forget it because the whole point is suspending your disbelief and enjoying. If you're there desperately terrified about what's going to happen to these people, you're not going to enjoy what you're watching. But it's one of those moments, again, like I've mentioned before in the other ones, where I instantly thought, you've got to take this seriously. And again, you've got to respect this because look what can happen. Now, I was quite proud of myself in a small way because after that we went on to do some hip tosses. And I deliberately said to myself, even though I was a bit reserved with it, just throw yourself into this. Throw yourself over that hip toss. And as soon as you land on that canvas, on that mat, you're going to feel 1,000 times better because you know you can do this. It was just a mistake and you move on. And that's what I did. Like I said, I'm sure it wasn't the greatest hip toss take, but it's something that really opened my eyes and it's something that I think I'm going to have to take into account going forward because it happens to everyone. I was chatting to some of the guys there and everyone was saying, it happens. You're all going to make mistakes. That's what we're there to learn. That's what you forget because you want to impress and you don't want to let anybody down. But at the same time, it's a learning process. And having that fear or something just smack you in the face and you're like, oh no, it's humbling. It really is. Again, I know that word comes up a lot, but you all of a sudden are very aware of where you are and what you have to do. But with all the bumping stuff, considering that you're seeing it now, it is a case of taking your flat back bumps, understanding when you should flick your hips out and when you should smash your arms into the floor. And the same with the flip bump. I mean, the flip bump with me, it's more about you got to keep your chin up. That's where the problems come. If you tuck your chin, because your head and your body's going to go where your eyesight is. So if you look up to the last minute and then tuck, you'll land on your back. If you do what I did and see my neck right there, and just put your chin in, you're going to go straight into the floor. We did front bumps as well, which obviously take a front bump, you want to put your hands in the air and take it. And that again, another great experience. The other thing we're really focusing on, and it's something I was a bit intimidated about before I went, just because I always assume I have no coordination whatsoever and I'm a bit of an oaf. And let's face it, I look like a bit of an oaf. Is chain wrestling. So that's, doing the lockup, going into a headlock, taking somebody's arm in a wrist lock, chaining those moves together. You see it all the time. And once again, when someone does it effortlessly, it looks like ballet almost. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, it looks so smooth and so, again, effortless. You know, how are these two people doing it? So we've been focusing on that a lot, and the amount of stuff that, you know, I'm being taught about. You can go from a headlock to this, or a hammerlock to this, or a full Nelson to this, is, you know, it's a lot to take in. And when you leave a session, there's so much in your mind. And I guess for me, you worry about going back next time, and you're going to be like, am I going to remember all of this? And you do remember it. As soon as you get back into that flow with someone, it may take you, you know, because we're still early on, it may take you a little bit before it all clicks into gear. But you do start to remember it. So it's like every time you go back, it's like an extra piece. So you've got somebody on a headlock and you go, okay, I know how to take them in a hammerlock. Or again, I know how to put them in a snapmare and take them down. I didn't realise just how much, I should have done really, because as soon as you're doing, you're like, of course there's this much to learn. But I didn't realise, one, how much there was to learn, and two, how protective you've got to be of yourself so you don't make mistakes and land on your neck. I mean, I'm fine. You know, for the people that ask what I've mostly done in my first, I think we've done 5 sessions now, it's the warm-up, it's bumping, a lot of back bumps, flip bumps, front bumps, and a lot of chain wrestling. And as you know, if you think about it, that is the basics. You can put the basics of a match together in due course once you learn it. And I was actually asked to do a match at the end of my 3rd session. And those words to me was, you may as well have said, I'm coming to kill you, Simon. Because the intimidation factor was, I can't do a match. Just 1 minute. And, you know, 1 minute in your head is nothing, but when you think, I've got to go in there. But the other thing I need to point out as well is, every other student at Al Snow's Wrestling Academy could not be more helpful, more respectful. That back and forth helps no end. Because even if you make a mistake, you know the other guy's a good dude. That account, I can't tell you how much that accounts for, because you don't have to worry about that stuff, because you know they're going to take care of you as well. But me and the guy I was doing it with, a good guy called Jim, put together, I'm sure if it was aired on TV, it would rightfully be torn to shreds. But given it was only our 3rd session, put some moves together, went over a minute, did about 3.5 in the end. Obviously, rough as anything, not smooth, but you slowly start to understand how these things go together. And more importantly, all of that, when it was done and I went home, felt awesome. Even though it wasn't Undertaker, Shawn Michaels from WrestleMania or anything like that. It was one of those really rewarding feelings where everything else starts to come together and you realise, keep at it, keep going, keep pushing through. And then hopefully in a few months down the line, you know, we're going to have something that we can really show off to people. Say, look what I've learned. Like, I can put on a 20-minute match. That's the dream anyway. Will I ever be able to do it? I hope so, but you don't know. There's the latest entry. Again, any questions for me, at Simon Miller 316. Everyone asking about Al Snow's Wrestling Academy, find them on Facebook, find them on Twitter, send them a message. They will have the answer that you need, and they're open, I would assume, to most anybody. And if there's any problems with stuff, you can chat it out. It will be fine. But we keep going on. I'm still in a lot of pain, but I'm still enjoying it. And last night's session, especially in the heat, was brutal. I mean, it was really, really tough, but I woke up this morning and I feel like I achieved something. And that, to me, is the most important thing. I feel like I'm achieving, and I feel like I'm going somewhere. I don't feel like I'm ever stagnating. I know it's still early, that's always the way, but every session feels like there's something new. So I hope you enjoyed the footage this time. There'll be more footage next week and going forward. But yeah, we keep going on. We're going to do this one way or the other, because you've got to believe in yourself. So go out there and live your own dreams, and I'll try and live mine too.
This Monday, these men are built to destroy. After their brutal match on Loaded, Primate faces off against the Iron Man Joe Coffey in a no-holds-barred match. WWE Cruiserweight Classic contender Noam Dar gets a shot at the Ring of Honor World title as he takes on champion Jay Lethal. Rampage goes one-on-one with Big Damo as these two monsters compete to become the first ever WCPW champion. Built to Destroy, airing July 25th exclusively on WhatCulture Wrestling.